Need a home, car, education, dream vacation? The National Lotteries Authority's Lotto Jackpot is $320,000. Play today for chances at a more satisfying life. Lotto. Play and win a lot of money.
Yeah. Woo. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys right now sitting somewhere on Arapita Avenue in Trinidad or somewhere in Hillsborough, Carriacou, and all you're just sitting or standing next to a post or something watching right along. I'm sure. Yeah, it's Carnival Monday inside Dominica, Carriacou, Aruba, and Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, but the show must go on, guys. Yes, we have a whole lot to talk about. So as you come in, go ahead and share up the thing right now. Share up the program, because this conversation, I believe, is long overdue. It's a conversation we're supposed to have since last week, since probably earlier than that too. And I just finally got a chance to bring in two of my friends who are on somewhat of an opposing side on this particular topic. That doesn't mean that they oppose each other in their practices on daily activities. They're just, for this particular issue, ladies and gentlemen, they have an opposing view. So we want to get to the bottom of it. Yeah, I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to engage in this conversation here. Now, it have to do with the news that we've been hearing all over social media in the past couple week or so, about the headlines and a lot of other media outlets is that the Prime Minister of Grenada, or the government of Grenada, deported 15 Haitian migrants from the country, right? And, there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk, misunderstanding, misinterpretation, and all of the above. So who best to bring on, guys? Two attorneys. Attorney at law, of course, good friend of mine, Anselm CLOUDEN, who is probably one of the most sought-out attorney in Grenada. He is, really, seriously. And of course, Denison George, who will be joining us shortly to give his perspective on this. Yes, Jackie Chaitan, big up yourself. Thank you so much. So a lot to discuss, guys. A whole lot to discuss. So as you guys come and go ahead and share up the program, let me do it as well. Let me do it as well. Let me share it up. I know they're getting ready for Monday Night Mass in Carriacou. I know they're getting ready for the jam later. It's Carnival. I know, but we need your input on this, guys. We need your input on this. So you see, Suzette already started the conversation already. I like that. Interesting. It will be an interesting conversation. It will be. All right, guys. So let me share it up. Everybody share the program twice. Right? Everybody share the program twice. Is that important? That discussion reach far places. I'm better than you guys because I'm sharing it more than once. I'm sharing it more than twice actually. I'm gonna share it 3 times. I have 3 friends who always say, make sure you tag me whenever you go live. So I'm doing that right now. My friends in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. How you guys doing on ANN Network in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? My friends in Trinidad and Tobago. How you guys doing on Tobago Live? And how you guys doing in Jamaica on Unstoppable Media? Big up all yourself. Notification sent out. Dylan, Simon, how you doing? Big up yourself. All right. Dwayne, big up. All right, guys. So let's start the conversation right now. As I said, my friend Denison George will be joining us shortly. But on the line right now, we have, again, one of the most sought after attorney in the entire country. His name is Mr. Anselm CLOUDEN. My brother, Anselm CLOUDEN, how are you doing?
No, not bad at all, George. Just waiting to start the program. Rather interesting program.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And as I said, we waited on Mr. Denison George, who would be joining us shortly. All right. While we wait, let us start Mr. Anselm CLOUDEN. Here's the headline. I was reading a article. Let me see if I could pull it up. An article from, and it was from Guyana. I'll pull it up a little later. But the headline was Grenada deported 15 migrants back to Haiti. Right? That's the headline. Let's start with that. From your understanding on what occurred, explain it to me in probably non-legal term, non-big legal term. What actually happened, Mr. CLOUDEN?
Well, as I understand it, when you enter a country as a non-national, there are certain preliminary matters that you are called upon to declare. For example, you could be asked how much cash you're walking with, where you're going to stay, if you have relatives here, and of course, you must be traveling with a valid passport.
Right.
That's the fundamentals of admission into a country. Now, I've been reliably advised that these Haitians landed here. They weren't deported. They were not allowed to land, in a manner of speaking, because they had not satisfied the requirements of the law with respect to visitors coming into the country. Now, they profess to be seeking refugee status. Well, I recall some year and a half ago, before the new transformative government took over, that the Minister then of Foreign Affairs, Oliver Joseph, had asked me to render an opinion to the ministry with respect to the Refugee Convention and whether we are a signatory to that convention. And if we are not, what is going to happen if we take in refugees? Well, of course, we haven't ratified the convention, but having regard to certain fundamental principles of international law, it doesn't preclude us from accepting refugees.
Right.
We can act in accordance with the terms of the convention, although we are not a member state to the convention. And what that means is we act in keeping with customary international law or the Committee of Nations. Okay? Now, how does that relate to our present situation in Grenada? Well, if this country had gone that route, then we would be faced with severe economic problems, one, because these persons would automatically become a child state. They apparently had no funds, traveling literally destitute.
Hold on, before we go there, Mr. CLOUDEN, before we go there, you said about ratifying in terms of asylum law. So you
Refugee Convention. It's an international instrument.
Explain that a little bit in detail.
It's an international instrument. And nations, just as you have the law of the sea, a number of nations have acceded and ratified the convention and become a member state to the convention. In this case, the convention is there. A number of countries join. You can join from time to time.
Right.
There's nothing preventing you from becoming a signatory member state by ratifying it. But in our case, we have not done so.
Okay.
So that it would have been a dangerous precedent to set by allowing these Haitians to land and then become a charge on the state. And indeed, the precedent would have opened the floodgates. Grenada could then be targeted as a safe haven for refugees. So I think the government acted in good faith and in keeping with the law when they were not permitted to come into the state. You see, you deport someone after they have landed sometimes. If you denied entry, then it's not a deportation, it's a facto.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you're saying it contrary to what a lot of people are saying, it was not deportation. They just were not allowed to land. That is the case. That is the case. So
they were turned back.
If a CARICOM national, if someone from, say someone from Dominica were coming into Grenada, is it customary that that person be asked or confirmed that they have sufficient cash on them to sustain them for the days that they are in Grenada? Is that a customary question that an immigration officer would ask anyone from CARICOM?
Yes, it is. I mean, an officer is entitled to ask those questions.
Right.
Because you must give an address. There's a form you fill out.
Right.
You must give your address where you're going to live.
Right.
And if you can't give that, then on what terms are you going to remain? Do you have relatives? If you have no money to pay a hotel, you don't have relatives, you denied entry. CARICOM, no CARICOM. That's what the prerogative of the state.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it is. Now go ahead. Finish your thought.
Because short of that, you become a charge on the public purse. The state will have to put you into a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And but in this case, although Haiti is a part of the CARICOM family,
right,
but they weren't coming in as visitors to Grenada. They were coming, as I understand it, professing to be refugees. So we had to move very quickly. No. And I think the government moved with great alacrity.
I stand
no.
I stand corrected, but I believe that the Prime Minister said that they came in as visitors, not as refugees, not seeking refugee status. I stand corrected, but I believe that what was said. I'll try to pull that video up.
They came in, you're right, Joe. They came in as visitors with the expectation of seeking refugee status.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. You're perfectly right.
Right.
I misspoke when I said they came in as refugees. They came in as visitors.
Yes.
But they contemplated seeking refugee status.
Right. Now here's another interesting question that I have not yet been able to get the answer to. Now they came to two other sovereign countries, territories, before they came to Grenada. They came to Trinidad and another South American country. Are we concerned that might be some case of human trafficking? Should that be a concern? Because now we are being asked the question, why didn't Trinidad take them? Or why didn't the other country take them? Why Grenada? And Grenada is at the tail end of their visit.
Yes. Well, this is quite a complex question because human trafficking, you see, I don't, it could be an aspect of human trafficking, but the factual context, contextually, it doesn't arise to human trafficking necessarily. You understand what I'm saying? Human trafficking has different attributes.
Right.
They came of their own volition.
Right.
Intended to stay, intending to ultimately apply as a refugee.
Right.
Human trafficking has different attributes. You see somebody selling you. I don't think that aspect of of human trafficking was present. Certainly not to my knowledge.
Right. Again, guys, we're having this conversation here with attorney Anselm CLOUDEN. We do expect to have Mr. Denison George on later, because Denison George is of the opinion that the government should have allowed the 15 Haitian migrants to come in, to land. Now, we want to rule out a couple of things, guys, because there were a lot of information that was circulating, which I know, and we read later, we found out later what that was incorrect. Now, this is a story that was written here. This is what it says. It says, Grenada to deport 15 Haitian. Haitian. The government of Grenada Monday said that it would deport 15 Haitian who entered the country as a group tourist on Sunday because immigrant has determined that there will be determined that there will be a burden on the state. Now we want to put that out there because we understood that the individual was not deported per se in the term of the word deportation. They were not permitted to land, right? What about special condition, Mr. CLOUDEN? Could immigration said, well, okay, well, they understand the situation that's happening in Haiti right now, a very unstable place to be, and these people was trying to get away from a bad situation, basically to save their own lives. Could there have been special privilege or special whatever offered to them because knowing they're coming from a place that is very unstable at the moment?
Always provisions in these immigration statutes where the minister can exercise his discretion on humanitarian and compassionate grounds.
Right.
But that wasn't the case here. Let me tell you my version of all of this and what has happened.
Yeah.
Don't forget that Grenada had assisted Toussaint Louverture in his revolution in the 17th century. One Henry Christophe had left Grenada and joined the rebellion, the slave rebellion. So that, Grenada is known, and Grenada was under the French rule at the time. So you had some similarity in terms of enslavement by the French. But let me put this in context. CARICOM must accept some measure of responsibility in the context of stabilizing that chaotic situation in Haiti. Well, Haitians cannot be encouraged to just migrate and move maybe to other CARICOM countries because they are a member of CARICOM. It doesn't happen that way.
Right.
What I would prefer to see is CARICOM collectively addressing that breakdown in law and order and restoring some calm and some governance to Haiti. You remember they shot the president not too long ago. Things are very chaotic. You have gangs taking over parts of the country and the like. CARICOM should put a CARICOM force, deploy a CARICOM force in there to restore law and order and get elections going and restore Haiti to some semblance of law, order, and quiet.
Yeah. All right, so we're joined now by Mr. Denison George. Denison, could you hear us?
I'm hearing you perfect, but I don't know if you could.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I've seen you.
Okay, Denison. Yeah, we could hear you. We could hear you fine. Hi, Denison. So,
hi, Denison.
Hi, Anscam. How are you?
Yes. Not bad at all, man. I went walking in the garden yesterday and it put me down, boy. I can't walk as I used to.
All right. So Denison, here, let me get your reaction on this, right? We saw your post on social media. You appeared to be very critical of the government decision to not land the 15 Haitian migrants. What's your position on it?
As a migrant myself, someone who came to the United States as a young child, we have to be sympathetic as Grenadian people. Remember, there is maybe 3 times more Grenadians living abroad than living in Grenada. There is more Grenadians living in New York than living in Grenada. There is more Grenadians living in London. And most of us came here as illegal. I was brought here as a child. 90%, maybe 95% of Grenadians that travel to the US and England and Canada and that didn't go there with their permanent resident. They with no money to make a better life for themselves. I live in New York. I'm a citizen of New York. And we have hospital like Kings County Hospital that's seeing tens of Grenadian patients every day. And the taxpayers of New York have to pay those bills. You know, not only New York, Toronto, London. We have Grenadians traveling abroad to get medical treatment. You know, we have Grenadian women traveling abroad to deliver babies that would have been problematic in Grenada.
Right.
And if we're going to set a criteria and by judging people based on finance and where they came from, it's a dangerous precedent. As Ms. Mackenzie, the human rights lawyer from England, said, that excuse that was used by the Prime Minister and his government to deny the Haitian entry is the same exact excuse that are constantly being used in the UK, in the US, in Canada. When a businessman from Grenada landed in London, the immigration asked him, how much money do you have in your pocket? And as she said, most Grenadian businessmen travel with credit card. You don't want to travel with $10,000. And they use that as an excuse to deny them entry. The government did a terrible, terrible, terrible mistake. I think it was a lack of experience. I think it was lack of empathy. As Anselm said, Grenada and Haiti I lived in Haiti for a short period of time. Grenada and Haiti have a closeness. When you go to Haiti and they hear you from Grenada, they welcome you, because one of the founding members of Haiti was Henry Christophe, who was a Grenadian, who born in Grenada, left Grenada as an adult, went to Haiti to fight in the revolution, and he was the first king of Haiti. And they respect that. And not only that, don't forget, Junior, just a few months ago, the PM went to the United Nations and gave a speech almost welcoming Haitians to Grenada, offering an olive branch to do what it takes to help Haiti. And I think most of the Haitian, the Haitians that came there, the 14 of them that came there, they came there on that premise that they would have a better life in Grenada. And it's terrible what was done. They was not given any due process. As CARICOM citizens, they are entitled to due process. Yes, Grenada is not a signatory to the UN refugee law of 1951, but that does not prevent Grenada. Grenada still have an obligation, or the other treaties and other customs and norms, to offer an olive branch and to let them in. And what at least they should have paused, get the expert in. I'm sure there is not one immigration officer at the international airport at Maurice Bishop that could speak Haitian Creole. At least they should have paused, get the expert in, listen to what they have to say, investigate those who, those who that fits the criteria to stay, allow them to stay. And not only that, I heard from a Haitian brother today who is Peter, who is a professional journalist, and he said, George, I could bet you that most of these people that went to Grenada are professionals, because poor Haitian cannot afford to make that trip. Junior, I remember as a child, when Grenadians used to go to Trinidad. I don't know if you remember that. And Trinidad used to send them back on the next flight. That is what happened. And it's very sad what happened in Grenada with our Haitian brothers and sisters. And I think it is a lack of experience. I'm not sure who is the Prime Minister's foreign advisor to advise him on these things. I think it's a lack of empathy on his part, especially the Prime Minister made that announcement in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
The Bahamas and the Dominican Republic have one of the worst reputation for treating Haitians like non-animals. And you know what got me upset, Junior? We were both Americans. We both live here. And you hear the news sometimes, 10 refugees died off the coast of Miami. And the U.S. Coast Guard did not get there in time. And people say, oh, wow, people start feeling so sad. And they would throw it up, oh, they were Haitians. And then right away, all sympathy just evaporates. And the way the Prime Minister said, Haitians, and not my brothers and sisters that he said in the UN, told me a lot. So they have a lot to learn. Yes.
All right. So Anselm,
Junior, let me say this. So most of what my distinguished colleague says It's true. But he fails, I think, to recognize that we are not America. We lack the capacity to, as it were, entertain large groups coming in. You remember the Cuban flotilla. Well, America could sustain that type of refugee on its shores. England, likewise. Those countries that you have cited, we are not in that category. We have a limited economy here. We lack capacity to create a situation where we set a sort of precedent that we start taking in Haitians, and then the floodgates open. And once the precedent is set, then there's no turning back. Any amount of Haitians could swarm into our shores here in Grenada. We lack the capacity. We don't have the type of vibrant economy, although we are moving in that direction. I mean, this government has done a tremendous job in addressing some of the ills, for example, the pension, the docking of teachers' salary. They've been addressing the needs of the people. And remember, the rural economy had collapsed a few years ago. There was no economy in Cargo, no economy in the rural areas of Grenada, Grenville, St. Patrick's, Guelph, and those places. So that sustainability, if we are going to accept such nationals from Haiti, remember there's a language barrier. It's not easy to fit in. Those of our foreparents who spoke Patois, like my grandmother, they're no longer around. And this generation, they're not into Creole language. So there are language difficulties. The culture is not the same. And they would have become a charge on the state. You see, if we were as Trinidad, who's far more economically buoyant than we are, Trinidad should have taken them. Trinidad is also a member of CARICOM. You understand what I'm saying? So that I don't think you can blame us, and I don't think it's any sense of being ungrateful. It's just recognizing our inability to address a situation that has become rather explosive in Haiti. And rather than encouraging them to migrate to small countries like ours, we should mandate CARICOM to restore good governance to Haiti. Quell that type of lawlessness that's taking place, like migrating and seeking refugee status is not the answer. And CARICOM ought to be more responsible in dealing with that situation in Haiti rather than having Haitians attempting to migrate to different CARICOM countries in the region, most of which are poor countries, with the exception of Trinidad, Jamaica, the Bahamas. And you're right, I mean, they're treated with scorn and contempt when attempting to go into the Bahamas. So much as I agree with some of the things that George has said, I don't think that we were in a position now to accommodate those Haitians. They would have been really a drain on our limited economic resources.
Right. One of the things too, I want you to comment on, George. He said that, Anselm said earlier, that by allowing a group of migrants to come in under this procedure, right, is like opening the floodgates and saying, yes, come. And that might be a further burden on the purse. Are we concerned? Are you thinking from that perspective as well?
Junior, the Chinese is coming, and they're coming in droves in Grenada. The Pakistanis is coming in Grenada, and they're coming in droves. The Indians are coming, and they're coming in droves. I'm not hearing anyone complaining about that. Okay? Number two, let me just say this. You cannot justify a wrong with a wrong. Yes, it's concerning that we might have opening the floodgate, but you have to respect the rights of individuals. They are entitled to due process. They are entitled to having a hearing, and that should have been given to them. and a determination should be made whether you cannot have politicians determine who is going to get due process and who is not. You cannot have politicians determine which Caribbean
process. You see, Council, to have due process, there are certain fundamentals that must take place. You have to ground it in something. And if you're not granted entry, then you're not entitled to a judicial or semi-judicial hearing as to your eligibility to remain. Now, what you're saying obtains in developed countries such as the United States, Canada, and the like, but that is after, let us assume you have come in and as a visitor and you overstay your time. Then you have a special inquiring officer who would determine your eligibility to remain. And that falls on the fundamental principle of fairness, the audio alterum partem rule that hear both sides. But they haven't gone past that hurdle because they haven't been landed.
But cousin, yeah, but cousin Ansem, brother CLOUDEN, the CARICOM law is very clear. You cannot discriminate against yes, no CARICOM members, citizens have the right to travel within CARICOM countries. They cannot go there and be a burden to the purse of the public purse of the Caribbean country. But to deny them entry, you have to prove many different points. You have to prove that they are danger to the public, they are danger to the welfare of that state. There is a few elements that have to be proven. And I am saying is that before you put them on the next plane and send them back, you have to prove that. Why were they denied entry?
Let me ask you a quick question there, Dennis, not to break your trend of thought there. But if someone coming in as a tourist and they are unable to provide substantial evidence to prove that they have enough finances to sustain them for a day or a week or so, and they don't know where they're going to be staying, isn't that concerning or should be concerning to that
Junior, let me ask you a question, Junior. You and I both came to the United States as immigrants, right?
Yes.
We both came in as tourists.
Yes.
And we did not leave.
Yes. Listen,
no one tells.
We have to follow that form. We have to follow that form.
Listen, no one say to an immigration officer, I'm coming to stay.
No. But what I'm saying is you have to follow that form, right? And also, Denison, just like when you get in a visa, right? Say, for instance, you're sick and you're trying to get a visa to come to the United States. The hospital in the United States would not receive you until you could provide proof that a hospital accepted you, one, and two, that you have sufficient money to cover yourself while going to the hospital. If you're going for a visa and you're sick,
if you're going right.
If you're going for a visa and you're well, it's no problem. They don't have to go to that procedure. So even the state, even the US have restrictions on not making individuals a burden on the state. People slip through the crack, yes, right? But they take measures to ensure that don't happen.
Junior, provide me with the name of one immigration officer that Maurice Bishop International Airport that speaks Creole, Haitian Creole.
No, I don't know. I'm just saying. I think every territory have the right to ask that question and make the determination. Because I think that even without the veil of what's happening right now, I think immigration officers do this on a regular basis. They do this. They probably reject a lot of other people. We're hearing about it now.
They even try to eject me and you.
But Junior.
Yes, go ahead.
Remember, an immigration officer, you can get a visa to travel to the United States. But when you get to the port of entry, that immigration officer that interviews you can reject you there and then,
Yes, they could.
If he thinks, based on questions asked of you and the answers given, he can exercise his discretion not to land you and send you back on the next plane. I've seen it done in Canada where I practice, and I've seen it done in the States. You get a visa from Barbados to go to New York. You get into New York, and the immigration officer at the port of entry has a tremendous latitude, unfettered discretion to determine whether he would land you or he would send you back. That is common to all democratic societies. Grenada, no exception.
Right, right.
So the immigration officer here doesn't even have to speak Creole. He could get well, I would assume that they should have gotten someone to, but they must have communicated with the people. And the people must have understood. The questions asked and the answers given. We don't know if they were bilingual. They may have been bilingual,
Right.
But I just want to make the point that an immigration officer at the port of entry has the final determination as to whether you would be landed or not.
Yes. Yes. Let me just also say that I know that a lot of you trying to get in on the call, but at this point we have Anselm CLOUDEN on the WhatsApp call, so we cannot take a call on the WhatsApp. So just hold on a bit. We'll get your call in a little while. So I know you guys coming in. I had to reject the call because we have Anselm CLOUDEN on this particular line. That's why you cannot come in on the call right at the moment. But Denison, I get your point, right? I get your point. I think it speaks to more of a compassion. Right. From a compassion point of view, the immigration officer probably should have be understanding to know, listen, it's terrible what's happening in Haiti right now. It's a bad situation. Let's just accept them. But it comes back to the question, Denison. Okay, so we accept them and they can't stay in a hotel, or they're not able to stay in a hotel. Where are they going to live? On Wall Street?
Junior,
where are they going to hang out? Where are they going to stay?
During the COVID, the government found a place to house people in St. George's.
Right.
Isn't that so? Isn't that so?
Yeah, but that's a medical emergency, man.
No, but what I'm saying, I understand. But what I'm saying is that
to look into that situation, that situation is not akin to the situation with respect to the Haitians.
I understand that.
It was an academic.
What I'm saying is that you have to give the same protocol to citizens coming into your country that you expect for your citizens traveling abroad. Okay? We would not, as Grenadian, would not like Grenadians to land at JFK airport and put on the next plane back to Grenada.
But it happens.
It happens, but not as what happens. 14 Haitian citizens coming into Grenada, at least you keep them for the night, you provide them with a hearing next day, and those who deserve the right to stay in Grenada should be allowed to stay. Those who does not have the right, some record showed up that they violate some laws, you send them home. That's all I'm saying.
But answer this question, Denison. Let me ask you this question. If the individuals could not have proved that they have a place to stay, they cannot facilitate, or they don't have enough finances to stay in a hotel, should the immigration officer still allow them to land?
Yes.
Okay. So where would they stay? Would they go and hang out on Wall Street?
The government could have provide accommodation for them. The government could have afforded to provide accommodation for them. We would like the same thing to be done to a Grenadian citizen traveling abroad. Provide accommodation for them. Not only that, okay, there was people from Paraclete that contacted the government and offered to take them in.
Listen, you know what's very interesting? You know what's very interesting? I heard this conversation, and I was having a conversation with my media colleague the other day, right? I have 7 people right now on a list that in Grenada that need place to stay. And I've been promoting that I have these people that need places to stay. And just last week, we got a place for one person. It's been a task, a big task. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing that people have places for people to stay. Now, I have 7 people on a list right now that I would like to get places to stay. So the people in Paraclete, the people in Guam, the people whoever have a thing, I just want to put that out there that I have people that need assistance as well.
After Hurricane Ivan, didn't a lot of Grenadians went to stay with families in Dominica, St. Lucia, Barbados, Trinidad? Didn't other Caribbean islands reach out to Grenada and take Grenadian citizens in after Hurricane Ivan?
Yeah, no, I get that. I just want to put that out there that we have a lot of people who need places to stay. I just want to put that on record. that people are coming out because this is a hot issue. People want to parachute into a conversation that they have they have all this surplus of places to stay. And I'm saying I've been preaching to get places to stay for people for a while. So I want to put this out there in the middle of this conversation that I have a lot of people who need places to stay, if that offer is still available from the people who have places for people to stay. I want to put that out there.
Those are homeless.
Yeah?
Those are homeless persons. I mean, if in fact, are you speaking of citizens from other countries coming to Grenada and folks here in Grenada would facilitate them by providing adequate and appropriate housing? Is that what you're saying?
No. You're talking to me, Anselm, or you're talking to Junior?
Well, I'm speaking to Denison and yourself.
What I am saying is that I am sure that if a call had went out, okay, they land in Grenada, you provide them with a facilities to stay for the night, a couple days until they are determined whether they should stay or not. And I am sure if a call had went out, people of Grenada would have responded and people would have taken them in. My brother, let me just explain this to you. And I know people who would have provided them with work also. I know a lot of people in Grenada looking for people who work land. I know a lot of people looking for people in Grenada who work land and they can't get people. Junior. Okay? They would have found, listen, we have to treat people the way we like people to treat us.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
Well,
we cannot deport people when they land on a plane or the next plane.
We want to have seasonal workers from Haiti. That's a different category of people coming into work. We can take seasonal workers from Haiti to work in the agricultural sector because there are much needed opportunities, a lot of opportunities for agricultural workers. But then you screen them just as we send people to Canada to pick fruits and now to take care of cannabis. We can import workers, temporary seasonal workers into Grenada to work. But that's a different category of persons coming into the country. You have to screen them, they have to show their ability, the technical know-how and the like. And we are confusing it. And I agree, there's compassion, there's humanity, and an immigration officer can exercise his prerogative on humanitarian and compassionate grounds. But having regard to the situation in Haiti as presently obtains, it will be setting a dangerous precedent for the country to accept these people in here, land them, and then the state has to provide for them.
So, Brother
resources into stabilizing the Haitian situation collectively as a CARICOM group.
So, Brother CLOUDEN, what you're saying, the CARICOM, there is no, based on what you're saying based on what you're saying, that there is no hope for CARICOM, because CARICOM cannot only be Trinidad, Barbados, Grenada, and Guyana.
Right.
Because what you're saying, there is no hope for CARICOM.
No, I think if CARICOM has to play a role in this, I believe what CARICOM needs to do is try to stabilize Haiti. Send money to stabilize Haiti.
You cannot pick and choose which Caribbean citizens is most desiring and which are not. You cannot say the Trinidadians are desiring because they have more money, the Bajans are desiring, but the Haitians are not.
So, okay, so Denison, are you saying that if it was Trinidadians, right, that came in, if it was Trinidadians that came in, let's put it into that perspective. Trinidadian came in, and the immigration officer said to them, how much money do you have? Or where are you going to stay? The Trinidadian say, I don't know where I'm going to stay. Okay, how much money do you have? Do you have live in a hotel? And the Trinidadian say, I ain't going to have no hotel to live in. Should they land at Trinidadian?
Junior, how much money the Chinese coming in?
No, I asking that question.
How much money the Chinese coming in?
I ain't get to the Chinese yet. I ain't get to the Chinese yet. I ain't get to the Chinese yet. No, I don't get to the Chinese yet. I get to the Trinidadians.
They would have let them in.
So you think they would have let the Trinidadians in, even if they don't have no place to stay?
Yes.
But why? Why you believe so? Because I have faith. I have faith in the immigration for years. I mean, that's what they do. That's their job, right? I never have a reason to lose faith in immigration. I never saw a news article said that the immigration officers are biased. I never heard that before. The only issue I had with them is one time I went to Grenada and they keep asking me how long I staying, and I made it a big deal. Like, don't ask me that. Don't ask me how long I staying. They need to get trained. Don't ask nobody Grenadian coming in how long they staying. But I've never heard Grenadians being biased. I mean, Grenadian immigration being biased to other people.
Do you remember during the height of the COVID epidemic, a plane load of Chinese came into Grenada and was not even screened? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that. I can't. I don't know.
Were they sent back to China?
I don't know the circumstances. I don't know if the circumstances are similar.
My brother, Junior, you and I grew up in Brooklyn.
Right.
We went to high school in Brooklyn.
Right.
We knew when being the word Haitian, just the terminology of Haitian. I went to Wingate High School where Haitian kids used to be beaten up every day.
I went to Wingate as well.
Okay. Being Haitian was a bad word in America, especially during the time of AIDS, because they were saying the AIDS was coming from Haiti.
Right.
I am saying is that there is a stereotypical way of the way we stereotype our Haitian brothers and sisters.
I agree.
And I think that played a tremendous role in what happened at that airport.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's completely different to the address our PM made at the UN. The PM address to the UN, it was basically offering an olive branch as the Prime Minister of Grenada to our brothers and sisters of Haiti. And I think that was one of the reasons why they came to Grenada.
Interesting. Guys, again, we're having this conversation here. We have Denison George and, of course, Anderson CLOUDEN on the topic of Haitian migrant who was not allowed to land in Grenada and was then sent back, 15 of them. This topic touch around political lines because, you know, whenever we're in a climate right now, everybody is in this, you know, in this political rage. You know, for some reason we can't get over politics, and it happened since in June. But if this was a different time, under a different circumstance, under a different veil of what's happened, do you think that it would have even been a big deal?
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Denison, and let me tell you something. There was an African who came into Grenada, okay? Well, he came into Grenada, he was landed, and it was later covered.
Yes, I fought to get him. I wanted fought to get him out of prison. Yes.
That's right. No, the past administration locked him up, and he spent 2-3 years, I think. I'm not sure as to the length of time, but he was in prison.
Yes.
And anybody, Greg, you want to cry?
No, I did. I was one. My brother, I was one of the lawyers that fought to get him out of prison at Richmond Hill Prison. The young brother from Ghana. He came on a boat to Grenada. He wanted to stay in Grenada. He went to the Catholic Church and asked for asylum. He was denied. He was put in Richmond Hill Prison for almost 2 years. We fought the case, and then the government of Sweden offered him asylum in Sweden. I am saying our Haitians is our brothers and sisters. As David Rudder said, when Haiti is crying, it's still Africa crying. And we have to have a humanitarian policy in Grenada. I'm not saying you let all Haitian in that comes on a boat that comes into the country. I am saying we have to extend the same olive branch to our brothers and sisters up north that we offer to other people and that has been offered to us as Grenadians when we travel abroad. When we have a country like Grenada, where 3 times more Grenadians are living in foreign countries than in Grenada, we have to do better.
Right. I am, you know, I'm trying to really be as open-minded to this because I'm very passionate to immigrants. You know this story very well, Denison. We stayed here. A lot of us, me personally, I was they call it illegal immigrant for a number of years, so I understand the whole lifestyle of being an illegal immigrant in another man's country, right? But I'm still thinking that I'm of the opinion that if CARICOM or if Grenada wants to help Haiti, I'm not sure if that was the right process in opening that floodgate. I think that even if they take $1 million and help to deploy some kind of troops or some assistance to Haiti, that might still be a better approach than to open that floodgate. Because once you open that floodgate, it's like you're inviting.
You're assuming that is opening a floodgate. These people could have been professionals. They could have been doctors.
Yeah, they could have been. They could have been. Yeah, you're right.
Why not give them a hearing and determine what's their qualification? They could have been and as
there are certain principles and legal obstacles that you must overcome. And one obstacle is you cannot travel destitute and go to another country.
They didn't come into Grenada illegally. They didn't come into Grenada illegally. They entered the country legally.
Well, they were not allowed to land. They
landed. They landed. They were not allowed to stay. But they didn't come and pause.
They weren't allowed to land. They weren't technically landed. They came in and was returned instantly. So technically, and they were returned because they hadn't complied with certain immigration laws that were designed to land and certain visitors to the country. It's as simple as that. So when the immigration asks you, that's a protocol. Question 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever those questions are. If you answer them in the context of your quest for admission, then you're admitted.
And what happens if you can't answer them because you don't speak? What happens if you cannot answer them because you don't speak the language? What do you do?
Well, I don't know if that was a situation there. That's mere speculation. I do not know whether they were bilingual or not, meaning whether they speak English or they were only speaking Haitian, and that would have created a further problem. The government would have had to send them to school if they had to work. I mean, it's the emotional dimension and the humanitarian and all of that, which I agree with to some extent. But look, man, Grenada is a poor country. And if we open floodgates and 15 come in, maybe 200 would be at our shores. I think the government was quite prudent and careful in not admitting these people to set that precedent.
Right.
That the Christians can come in to Grenada at will.
On the other hand of things, Anselm, let me ask this question. Do you also think that it could have been an overreaction by Grenada, right? Because say for instance, and someone asked me this question, a media colleague asked me this question. If it was $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to sustain these individuals for a short period of time, and as Denison said, what if, I'm putting hypotheticals here, what if they were to afford them that week or so to find out what's really happening, allocate a $20,000, which in government terms, that's not a lot of money. That's not a lot of money per se. And then see how or what Caribbean island would take them. Instead of saying, okay, you came from an area where you might be afraid of prosecution or running because somebody might be trying to kill you or whatever the case might be. I'm sending you right back in the middle of where you came from. Do you think that probably Grenada overreacted?
To be quite honest, I don't think this was an overreaction. I think it was a compliance with certain protocols that they weren't in a position to comply with. And so as to avoid any further complication, the proper course of action was taken. As I say, you can have a category of Haitians coming into Grenada as skilled workers, maybe they had to be bilingual, if we want to assist in that context, then we go through a procedure to have these workers maybe come seasonally.
Junior,
right. To work on farms, as the case may be.
Yeah. Hold on, let Anselm finish your comment. Go ahead, Anselm. Finish up, Anselm.
But just coming like this as a visitor with no sort of credentials, with no money, evidently you become a charge on the state.
Well, we don't know if we don't know what credentials. I don't know what
afford
credentials they had. We're not
Junior, let me
sure
say
if they
this.
had
Junior,
I don't
Junior,
know
let me just say this.
credentials.
Let me just say this, Junior.
Uh-huh.
In 1983, during the revolution, when the revolution failed,
Mhm.
and Grenadians was being slaughtered, you know what Trinidad did? Trinidad passed a law that Grenadians had to get visa to enter Trinidad.
Right.
The whole world cried shame at Trinidad. CARICOM cried shame at Trinidad. Said during Grenada was time. Trinidad is now saying Grenadians had to get visa to enter. A few years ago, we heard the same cries of an undesirable people entering into Grenada who couldn't speak English.
Mhm.
And you know what? Thanks to them, we get that international airport. The Cubans. They couldn't speak English. And they came and they made a tremendous difference in Grenada, in our society, in our healthcare, in our infrastructure.
Right.
I am saying is that, Junior, these people, you know how hard you have to work to save up money, to leave Haiti, to travel to St. Martin's, travel to Trinidad to get to Grenada. These people maybe work months and years to save that money. And I'm sure when they landed in Grenada, they felt we might have a chance. And you didn't even give them that. Come on, my brother, you have to have a heart, bro. I came to America with nothing, Junior. And a lot of people help me.
But there's all of us travel to America. I went to America.
What I'm saying, Junior, and the success that I was able to achieve.
Hold on, we can't hear both of you guys at the same time.
The success I was able to achieve, Junior, and you are able to achieve because people help us. You understand? You have to have compassion for people.
Right.
We are not.
Also, if I had showed up, or if you had showed up at immigration in the US, and those questions that they ask us, if we didn't pass those criteria, they would have sent us right back.
And not only that, Junior, look how many when Grenadians go in for visas.
Yeah.
People take up money together to get bank statement. Not only take up money to get bank statement, Junior. You know that some people even fake the bank statement. So that means a Grenadian would never be able to enter the United States or Canada or England if we base that criteria on the same criteria that we offer to our Haitian brothers and sisters.
No, America have that criteria. But then listen, America have that criteria. Canada have that criteria. England have that criteria. They do ask you about that. Even when you go in for your green card, they ask you about affidavit of support to make sure that you don't become a charge. And if the person who's sponsoring you cannot afford you, you have to find a relative that have to provide an affidavit to say that they will maintain you if that your wife or your husband can sustain you. So the affidavit, and the reason why that is done is the same reason that every territory look to protect their purse.
But it's not enforced.
But affidavit of support is necessary. It's necessary though to get your green card, and if your spouse don't make a certain amount above the poverty line, you have to provide affidavit of support.
I understand everything that you're saying, but I'm saying you have to show compassion. You have to show some kind of compassion when people land on your soil. At least give them a hearing, find out what's going on with them, and if they are undesirable, you get them out of the country. But at least give them a hearing. My God, what are we? Who are we? We're human beings. This is our brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
A hearing, Denison. They got a hearing on the airport. They were interviewed by the chief immigration officer. So they got a hearing.
Due process, my brother. Due process.
But that's due process. That's due process.
Right. No, it's an emotional topic. And I understand where Denison from, right? To a point, because we all know the immigration story, right? And what we went through, sometimes, we say we don't want anybody else to live through that. I understand. But the scope that I'm seeing it from, Denison, is if any immigration officer at any point identify that you would be a charge on the public purse in any territory, in any territory, they have the unfiltered right to deny you permission to land.
But I'm going to tell you this: when that poor woman left Grenada, and come to the US and land at JFK Airport to go to Kings County Hospital to have some kind of procedures done that she cannot get in Grenada. If she's put on the next plane and sent back, Grenadians would cry shame at America. America would be the most evil place in the world.
But that happens.
I am saying when you have a population that go abroad, that travels abroad for medical reasons, come to the US, come to Canada, go to England, we have to extend the same olive branch when people come to our little island who are less fortunate than we have to.
What about the Myrie case? Now, Myrie left Jamaica. She went to Barbados. You guys are lawyers. You probably know this case study very well. Are there anything that we could learn from that Myrie case that will basically be a guide to what immigration should have done in this particular case here? CLOUDEN, are you familiar with the Myrie case, right?
That's the guy and his lady, right?
The Bajan going to Jamaica. The Jamaican going to Barbados.
Right, and she was, but she did file the suit, and
she won. She went to the highest court.
Yeah,
she went to the CCJ.
Yes,
it went to the CCJ, and she wasn't given a proper hearing. I guess the case turned on the fact of certain provisions at the CMSC, the right to appeal, and the fact that she wasn't given a proper hearing in Barbados. That's ultimately what we call the ratio decidendi of the case itself. And she succeeded, and the government of Barbados had to pay her substantial damages. But remember, she came from a CARICOM country too.
Right.
So that what Denison is saying, but she was, and I think she was searched, and there's all kinds of
she was humiliated. She was humiliated.
Factors.
They tell her, are they Jamaican coming in Grenada and take people, man, and all. Real humiliation. It was humiliation. But what I'm saying is, in this particular case study, I know you guys are lawyers and you guys deal with case studies and precedents and stuff like that. Is there any precedents that was set that could have been followed in this case here in Grenada?
Let me tell you this, Brother CLOUDEN is my mentor. As you know, he's my mentor. And I was really disappointed. I was hoping, but I guess they didn't stay in Grenada long enough. And I hear what he's saying, Junior, on this program, but I bet you if they had called on him, he would have been fighting tooth and nail to get these same people the right to remain in Grenada. I'm telling you, Junior. I was disappointed. And when I heard the story, I said, well, where is Brother CLOUDEN? Where is Brother CLOUDEN? And I guess they didn't stay, but I know if they had stayed in Grenada and they called on him the next morning, he would have moved mountains and stones to get them to remain in Grenada.
How about we get CLOUDEN? CLOUDEN, let me get you in your defense attorney mode right now. You are playing defense attorney, all right? That's your position right now. And you get called you get called. You got called. What's your defense? How would you defend this situation? Because I know defense attorney have to change their skin sometimes.
Yeah, well, you do what the law, we act within the law, and as Denison said, and I agree with him, sometimes you have to beg the immigration officer to exercise compassionate, humanitarian and compassionate grounds, and you fight to get them landed. I mean, Denison is right. I mean, when called upon to discharge our professional duty, it is completely different than when we sit and discuss the pros and cons of a particular action taken by the government. You see, your obligation to your client once retained is absolute. But as it is now, look, but this is a new government. These guys are trying their very best to stabilize our country. And you guys know that. So that, to be saddled with a refugee situation here from an unstable a polity such as Haiti, where there's no rule of law anymore. I mean, gangs have taken over the country. It's, law becomes the Hobbesian sense, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. We have to go in there, not take them. We have to go in there and stabilize the situation. When Grenada, when the Americans came in to free us, they had a CARICOM force here too. You had soldiers from Jamaica, from Trinidad, from Barbados, from all the senior CARICOM countries coming in to stabilize the situation in Grenada after the American rescue operation. And I don't call it an invasion, I call it a rescue operation because that's what it was.
Right. Right. Guys, again, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to call in. So just stay close to your phone because we're going to open up the phone line shortly because there are so many people who want to queue in. I got to get Mr. CLOUDEN off this particular line as soon as he make all his points so that we could take those calls. So CLOUDEN, let's kind of summarize this whole situation here right now. You're saying that it was not a knee-jerk reaction by Grenada to get this Haitian out. It was in fact a legal procedure that they identify that, you know, these individuals may become a burden on the public purse. So they make that decision. It was not a knee-jerk reaction. Is there any other reason or is there anything Grenada should have done as to fix the PR? Because I look at Twitter, you know, Grenada is getting a bad rap. I even look at Justin Trudeau. He was speaking in Nassau, Bahamas, and he's pledging a lot of support. He's pledging $10 million support. He's pledging another $12 million support in aid, and all of these things. And it's like in contrast to what has been done. So Grenada looks as if they're in a very bad PR situation where they're sending back Haitian, because that's the narrative out there. Although the headline is not correct, but Grenada is seen like, what? Grenada is supposed to be this friendly place. Now we're sending back Haitian. What is that? Could they have done a better work, PR work, in this situation?
I think so. I think you're perfectly right. We could have handled this somewhat differently from the public relations perspective. But you see, the GIS would have been the appropriate organ to give the government's position and the government's policy. But there's a lot of cleaning up to do in the GIS. You know, there's a lot to be done so that, indeed, we've missed a sort of opportunity to put forward with vigor the government's position and the government policy with respect to the refugees or people coming into the country without properly being able to sustain themselves when they're here. You see, we could have done a better job.
Yeah,
yes, I agree with you.
And the PR stuff.
But I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this occasion gives reason for shaking up GIS. You know,
right?
Because they're too docile in putting out the government policy on certain issues. Yeah.
I think a lot of information PR work has to be done much better. Even the Prime Minister admitted the other day, and they get a lot of flack for it, you know, with the removal or the expiration of the 150. You know, the government could have done a better PR work with that as well. There are so many things that are lacking.
I think, Junior, also, the whole situation makes the PM look hypocritical, because he went to the UN and he offered a olive branch to our Haitian brothers and sisters, and that's how he referred to them, our Haitian brothers and sisters. And I think if the PM had, in that news conference, he had showed a little more sympathy, a little more empathy. Yes, we return them, but, you know, we sympathize and we are willing to do everything to help out in the situation. But he just cut and dry, very firm, and that bothered a lot of people.
Right.
The way he delivered that news.
Yeah, I agree with Denison. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's a proper public relations department in the government, and the GIS is the most appropriate vehicle to be used in that regard.
Right.
Yeah. You know, but the Prime Minister is a very thoughtful person. He's inspirational, and I have no doubt that he would rectify the situation in good order.
That's all I'm saying, Junior. His delivery of that news, and especially in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
You know, and he didn't use the word Haitian brothers and sisters. Haitian nationals, like they are some foreign aliens. And then he talked about the government purse. I didn't think it was necessary to talk about they coming to Grenada to be a burden. We cannot allow them to be a burden on the government purse. I didn't thought that was the right tone and the right kind of words to use, especially when 3/4 of your 3 times your population is living abroad, and you have Grenadians going abroad. Listen, we complain as Grenadians when we go to Trinidad and they take a bottle of rum on the airport. We complain. Think about it. You have Grenadians coming in New York with mangoes and fruits, and they all hell broke loose when the immigration of the custom in New York took the mangoes and the green peas and the fried fish. Now these are human beings.
They fry fish. Fry already. It's not fresh fish.
But I'm just saying, when we complain when they take a few mangoes, when customs and immigration in New York take a few mangoes from us, we complain. Now these are human beings, and you didn't even give them the opportunity to breathe. You just put them on the next plane like they're carrying some kind of disease, and you just send them off.
Right,
man, that's not right. You can't be a human being and agree that was right. And then the way he delivered that message to the public in the Bahamas, that was not, that's my,
No, I mean, I definitely agree with the PR and the messaging. That's important. You have to have good messaging, and in a lot of cases, it's lacking in many ways. But guys, listen, I thank you guys so much for engaging this conversation. CLOUDEN, any last? CLOUDEN, I had to ask you about this because viewers was asking about this.
Yeah.
The situation, you are in the news this week, and you spoke about a situation where a Caucasian nationals was bringing her dog to bathe in the dam.
Yes.
What's the latest on that?
Yes, I have pictures of how we had blocked the road last week, Tuesday. Because she's very recalcitrant, and she thinks that she can do these things with impunity. I have pictures. I'll send it to you, Denison. And,
send it to me too. Send it to me too.
Junior.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you. Where you see where we have blocked the road, and she's coming down from the dam with a car filled of dogs. And my people, one went up there. You'll see the guy behind the car. He was the one who was able to tell the fellow at the bottom to block the road. She's coming, and we called the police. But as usual, they take hours before they arrive. And by the time they arrive, she would have cleared the road of the blockage. And I have those pictures to show you.
Well, okay.
And I'm being very patient, because even if it was a Grenadian doing that, they would already be charged. And she confessed to the police, and all came about because, I'm in close proximity to the dam. And all of that came about because I reported the matter to the police and reported it again to Nawasa. And the police went and interviewed her, and she admitted. But what she said was she stopped since last year. But that wasn't true, because pictures of her last Tuesday coming from the dam with a car filled of dogs. And I have pictures with her playing the road, the obstruction I put there, hoping that we would detain her there until the police arrive.
Interesting stuff. We want to follow up on that story.
Sad situation.
That might be allowed to happen.
As a matter of fact, Denison, I am about to ask people who may have suffered from gastroenteritis over a period of time, if they have gone to a doctor, and the same thing is done with asbestos and those things. If in fact there's evidence that some people came down sick as a result of the contaminated water, we're going to sue Nawasa and sue her.
Yeah, but we also have to say that the water goes through a lot of treatment before it actually goes to the consumer. It goes through a whole process.
That's true.
True process.
Let me just filtration.
Denison, you're saying?
Yeah, but you don't know what disease these dogs may have.
Right.
And the process of filtration, it goes through at Ashington Filtrating Center. It's a purification, you're right, it's treated and then distributed. But that doesn't mean that it cannot be contaminated with certain viruses from the dogs. And she has been seen to be bathing stark naked.
Oh.
I mean, this is something that's very serious, you know.
Yeah.
And we tend to be taking it very lightly. The reporter from Nawasa came on there and said, well, we do that and you could be fined. That's a whole lot of nonsense. You have police doing an investigation. What investigation have you done? Been liaison with the police? To the extent that you can prefer charges because the facility is yours.
Yeah. And let me just say, guys,
I think
I don't think anybody's justifying it. I'm certainly not justifying it. I just wanted to calm the fear of people who think that the water comes straight from the dam straight to their pipes. It goes through a filtration process, and that is to be noted.
That is correct.
Right. So I'm not advocating and saying what she's doing is right or somehow agreeing with anyone bathing or washing or bathing dogs in a dam. So I know people getting this started very quickly. I just want to make that note. But then that's what you were saying.
Yeah, I just wanted to state that to you, which would take much longer time to explain. The reason why St. Lucia has surpassed Grenada has to do with population. The UN and CARICOM has put out a very serious report concerning Grenada, that our population is not growing and Grenada cannot sustain any kind of economic viability 20, 30 years from now if that population remains stagnant. We are stagnant at 110,000. The reason why the current government have to revamp the whole pension system is because there is not enough Grenadian paying into the system today to take care of that generation tomorrow. If things continue like that and women in Grenada continue to have one child and 2 children, 30 years from now, we're going to be in a serious situation. I hear people say all the time, what are we going to do with those people? Where are we going to put them? Right now, Junior, Grenada need almost 50,000 people. Grenada need close to 50 to 75,000 people to build a vibrant economy, to build a tax base, and women in Grenada are not having enough children. Look what happened to Dominica. Dominica is taking in a lot of Haitians now. There's a huge Haitian population in Dominica because they need people.
Right.
So I'm saying if Grenadian women are not having enough children to sustain economic growth 30 years from now, remember how the pension system works. 30 years from now, the children who will be working then will be the one paying this pension for the older citizens then.
Yeah.
So so when we're talking about opening the floodgate, it might be a good thing. It might be a good thing to bring in a few thousand.
Be selective.
It might be a good thing to bring in 20 or 30,000 Haitians into Grenada and help us lift our economy.
But you could bring them in as seasonal workers. You have to find accommodation for them. I say, just as we send folks to the Canada and the United States to pick fruits, to take care of cannabis farms and the like, we can selectively bring in seasonal workers into Grenada, especially in the agricultural and fishery sector.
Yeah.
But we have to be selective. We just can't take
because
people at random.
Every territory.
You are promoting the same. That's what Donald Trump is saying. That people should just be able to come to America. You should only choose people based on they have to have some kind of qualification. So you are making the same argument that Donald Trump is saying, that visas should be based.
That's part of the Canadian immigration requirement, and I practiced in Canada for some time. You get a number of points if you are a technical person. For example, if you're a plumber, because Canada is very underdeveloped in the context of the demographic distribution of people. You have provinces that's literally empty, so that depending on where you want to go, depending on your qualification, because they put great emphasis on giving concessions to technical people, and they give you points.
Yeah.
You get a point if you're a plumber, you get 50 points or maybe 30 points, as the case may be. I just want to make the point that you have to select those people that come into your country to reside and to develop the country and develop themselves.
Yeah.
You can't be taking burdens on the state.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, we have to end it right here.
But I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Grenada needs to increase its population by 60, 70. I would say about 100,000 people.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, thank you so much.
How should we do it, Brother Cloud? How should we do it? Should we give incentive to Grenadian? Should we give incentive to women in Grenada to have more children? Would you recommend that?
Yes, you should give them a baby bonus. If you have, that's how Canada developed over the years. In the early days, some families they pay you to have children by giving a baby bonus for every child you have.
Yeah.
You see?
They need to incentivize the whole process. But incentivizing women, I think they also need to work on men, because a lot of men, they just can't have kids, because in some cases, I spoke to the gynecologist before, she said that because of some practices of some men, they're just unable to have kids, whether they drink too much or they just, whatever the case is. So not only the fault of the woman,
and the foods they eat.
And the food, they just have a very low, it could be that they have very low sperm count.
I feel happy to hear Brother Claude admit Grenada need almost 100,000 people in order to build a vibrant economy and a vibrant society.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Listen, guys.
We're underpopulated, dismally underpopulated. And then stores close at 4 o'clock, Saturday, half day. We have to get away from the practice. I mean, this government has been very imaginative in that civil servants, for the first time in this country's history, would be paid bi-monthly, every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because by this monthly pay, it created an endemic system of poverty and credit. So that you get paid at the end of this month, and you have to pay for all the credit that was granted to you from last month.
Yeah. Now
your poverty is perpetuated.
That is a whole other conversation that we could have in the next episode of this, where we have to open up the phone line and get some of the prospective views of our viewers. Anselm CLOUDEN, thank you so much. We appreciate you, my brother, and you always answer that call. And I'm very, very happy that when I call Mr. Anselm CLOUDEN, because it could be that I'm in a bad situation, right? But Anselm CLOUDEN always answer my call. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed this evening. I thought Brother Claude would have come out blazing.
always blazing. We gotta take this call. We gotta take this call right here. Caller, you live? Where are you calling us from? Denison, you could stay on the line though. Caller, you live? Hold on, caller. 1 second. Let me put you through. Hold on. Oh Lord. Hold on, caller. 1 second. 1 second. All right. Hold on, caller. 1 second. 1 second. All right, caller, go right ahead. You're live.
Yes, I have 2 questions for Denison. First question is, I'm calling from Grenada.
Grenada, go right ahead. Yes.
If you have your business place and you're looking for workers, would you just take anybody to come and work, or would you find out who they are?
Yep.
One question. The second question is, that there was the first question anyway. They come out in a place where, in a home or in a village, where there is lots of crimes going on. Would you whether interview them or not, and you know where they are, if have things going on right now? Would you interview them? And my second question
is... that sounds like a third question, Helen.
No.
Go ahead.
Would you be able to donate some money to Grenada to take care of the people, or would you get some workplace? You have a business place in Grenada, so that you will able to help these people you want to bring here to pressure our back that living in Grenada. You're living in America.
Okay, let me just answer Let me answer all three questions. First of all, I agree with you. If you have a business place, you need to do and make sure you get the right person to take care of your business. Question number two, I'm not sure if you're familiar with who I am. I do a lot for Grenada. I help a lot of people in Grenada. I don't think maybe you know who I am. Maybe Junior could give you a little of my background. And as a philanthropist in medical equipment to the hospitals every year, renovating of the Methodist School in Grenville, building house in Seamoon for families. And yes, I could tell you, I know people right now in Paraclete, including one of my brothers, who would take these 14 people to work land for him up in St. Andrews because he cannot get people to work. I could tell you that straight up. And I know a lot of Grenadians who would have gladly take them and provide them with work because they cannot get people to work. You know.
Okay. All right. We got another caller online. Caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
Hey, Junior. God bless you. I'm calling from Canada.
Canada, go right ahead.
Yes. I was watching your program. I have to cut it off because I got to call on the phone. Huh?
Yes.
I look at the migrants that they sent back to Haiti from Grenada. You know, I love Mr. CLOUDEN. I know him from Canada. I know he's from Cocody living in Grenada right now. He's a very nice man.
Yes.
But what I'm saying, Haitian are brothers. And the kind of disaster and kind of trouble things that go on in Haiti right now, they're looking for refuge. And I do believe our Prime Minister, whoever in charge of port and authority, should really take some consideration and interview these people properly, right? And find some good grounds to give them some kind of refuge, okay? I am a high-class skilled worker in Canada, okay? Canada taking something like 3,000 or more Ukrainian people, right? They don't know what it is, you know? And I personally have to train these people, right, on my job site. You know, they don't know English. 95% from my communication with them is going on Google and doing the translation with the language and English and doing sign work for them, so they could understand how to communicate with us. Haitian is a French country, and our people, they went to so many in the past, and they need our help, they need our attention. Like Prime Minister Trudeau has a compassion for Haitian people because of the general governor that come from Haiti way back in 1980 to govern this country as a governor general. So now I'm putting all this money and all this effort in Haiti. We as the Caribbean people should take an example, because you do not know who is skillful, you do not know who is qualified.
Right.
So we have to do the research before we just take these people back and just ship them back. It is very unfair. And I want Mr. CLOUDEN, he's a man I respect very much, because at the first part of the program, he was very much angry for the government to send these people back. And almost to the end of the program, he's blaming the GS, General Secretary.
No.
Right?
No. He wasn't blaming the GS. He was saying GIS, which is the Government Information
GIS,
Service.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me the proper information, right? So this is a topic he should have been taken.
Right.
And come down from the government level. You see what I'm saying? Because those people are very skillful people.
Right.
I mean, real skillful people in Grenada. Right?
Yes.
Let us have compassion on them. God bless you. I love you.
Thank you so much, caller. We appreciate you. Yeah, what CLOUDEN's position is that he believed that within the law that the whatever legal action that had to be taken was taken in assisting these Haitian nationals. I've been getting so many calls, but you guys understand that I couldn't bring you on if. Hold on. Yeah, I couldn't bring you on if I have someone else on the line. So if you guys want to call, you could call in right now. Again, the number 718-701-5720. In other words, I can't cut somebody off in the middle of when they're talking to answer the call. All right. So if you want to put your voice Okay, here we go. We got a call, and Spice is calling again. Spice, I see you calling, and I'll try to take your call right after this one, all right? All right, caller, live, where are you calling us from?
Hey, I'm calling from Toronto.
Toronto, go right ahead.
Yes, how you doing?
Good.
Now, I'm listening to your program. Good program.
Yes.
And it's regarding the Haitian issue.
Yes.
Okay, I think first of all, the whole Haitian issue has been handled very badly and very hastily.
Right.
I think the migrants, in which I think are economic migrants, and I think they're looking for a way out of a better life, like any one of us in this country who is trying for a better life.
Yes.
Now, what you need to
go ahead. Sorry.
Give them a hearing, and then you take it from there. You don't just deport them like that. And secondly,
they was not deported. They was not deported. They were not allowed to land, which is different than deportation.
You're allowed to land and give a hearing.
Right. Sorry. Let me just hold on. Sorry. Hold on. Let me just clear this thing. Okay, go ahead, caller. Sorry, go ahead.
The Prime Minister said that they had no cash and no credit card. I mean, what do you expect from Haiti? It's the poorest country in the world. Where would they get cash and credit card? That's a no-no.
Right.
And secondly,
go ahead.
Secondly, just let me finish that point. I remember some Haitians came to Grenada on that Gary time, and you know what Gary did? He took them and he placed them in places like La Poterie, St. George's, and he gave them jobs. So I think that the Prime Minister missed an opportunity because he was going to the Bahamas to the Caribbean Heads of Conference meeting, right? Now, you could have taken the podium and say, hey, we got some Haitian here in Grenada, we held them, we vet them, and we're going to investigate them. You had a case to argue.
Definitely.
At the Caribbean Head of Conference. So I think the Prime Minister missed an opportunity. And just to conclude, I want to say, when we are successful in life, do not shut the door. Give people an opportunity so they can make a better life. When Grenadians went to Trinidad and they got deported in Trinidad, we made noise about it. We criticized a lot about it. Now we have the poor Haitian coming to Grenada. Guess what? We're talking all kind of nonsense about, the this and that and the other. We went through problems in Trinidad back in the day when we went for better life and we were deported back. Right. We were put in prison. We had Ivan when things was all dilapidated. The entire economy was destroyed. And we had people from all over the world contributing back to Grenada. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And here's the next thing. I recall I'm in Toronto. We had no trailer to send food. A guy from Eastern Europe came with a trailer and he said, I am going to donate that trailer to Grenada so you can ship food to Grenada. Right? Come on, man. I recall again when St. Vincent was going through the volcano. And we were talking about we didn't want to see the thief, but we can't do that, man. Come on, what we need to do was to keep the Haitian, walk along with the churches, the Catholic Church, the Methodist Church, the Anglican Church, and all the different religious organizations, and see if they can give a helping hand. Talk to the businesses.
Right.
We just can't just keep going back to Trinidad because, come on, man, we can't do that. Listen, the good Lord said, the Bible says, when I was naked, you clothed me.
Right.
When I hungry, you fed me. When I need housing, guess what? You gave me housing. Come on. Haiti is the poorest country on earth.
Yeah. Carla, here's what I agree with you. I have to take the next call, but I totally agree with you that Grenada missed an opportunity here, right? Grenada missed a big opportunity where the Prime Minister was meeting with Justin Trudeau. And one of the reasons that the Prime Minister outlined that he was meeting with Justin Trudeau is to speak to him in terms of lifting the restrictions on visas.
Coming to
right. Now, Justin Trudeau has spoken in Bahamas, and he spoke so passionately about the assistance that Canada is planning to give to Haiti. So he could have been in a position to say, well, we were faced with this situation just 2 weeks ago, and this is what we did. We have them here, and we're looking for assistance. Out of the $10 million that Canada was pledging towards Haiti, Grenada probably could have got a portion of that.
We call that diplomacy.
Diplomacy, right. That could have been
a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
You could have steal the podium. You could have steal the podium if you gone to the Bahamas with a case in your hand saying, this is what we have. This is what we just experienced. You know what I mean? So I think it was a missed opportunity, but as Grenadians, we have to be more loving.
Yes.
We have to be more considerate. When our brother house is on fire, we help them put out the fire.
Yes.
And by the way, Haitian should be Stalin Calypso, Chuck Dust Calypso, David Rudder, Bob Marley Calypso. Haitian should be included in our discussion as a Caribbean nation. It was a missed opportunity for Grenada and the Prime Minister.
Absolutely. Thank you, caller. We appreciate your input on the topic right here. Thank you. All right. Yeah. 718-701-5720. While we wait on the next call, Denison, what's your thoughts?
I agree. I think it was a great opportunity for the Prime Minister. If we had taken them in, the Prime Minister could have made the case. We just took in 14 Haitians. We need help. And I'm sure some kind of aid would have been provided to Grenada from not only CARICOM. And I'm sure, Junior, if the Prime Minister had made a case to Grenadian in the diaspora, I would have sent money. I'm sure people would Grenadians in the diaspora would have sent money. And I'm sure if he had gone to the churches,
right,
and so we have these Haitian nationals, we're looking for a place to put them up or to upkeep them. I'm sure that people would have reached out. We are Grenadians. We are great people. We take in people. Everybody know we are kind, loving people. Think of how many people come from abroad, come to Grenada, and you just stay. You know what I mean? Think of you go to a village and everyone takes you in. So we are compassionate people. I'm just think the Prime Minister acted too haste, and his demeanor. He did not show any kind of compassion. He did not show any kind of empathy, and especially for his speech before the UN regarding, as he said, we have to do more to help our Haitian brothers and sisters. That's what he said at the UN.
Yeah. Hold on, Denison. Hold on, we got a call on the line. Where are you calling us from?
Hi, I'm calling from Canada.
Canada, go right ahead.
Hi, good night, Junior. The caller a while ago say about Justin Trudeau, right?
Yes.
About he could say when he went down to the Bahamas, Justin Trudeau would never take out the visa for Grenada. That's one thing I know, because you remember that talk come up already before. We keep Mr. come to talk to Justin for if he take. He would never take it out. One thing I know about Justin is really more care about refugees than the own people in Canada.
Well, we can't say he would never. We cannot say he would never.
No, just trust me. I'm telling you, he's not going to take out the visa. And for the next thing, I want to ask Mr. Denison. You said that the Prime Minister have no empathy and have no how you know that?
I did not say he does not have any empathy. I said the way he handled that situation, he did not handle it with any empathy. The Prime Minister could have said, listen, 14 Haitian land in Grenada, we are repatriating them back to Haiti. We understand Haiti have serious problem. We have to do more to help Haiti. I'm willing to pledge Grenada would do more to help Haitians. And he could have made a speech after that comment about sending them back. But he was cut dry, straight to the point, and that was it.
Yeah, but that's when the Grenada Prime Minister turned back people on the airport. A lot of countries turn back people right on the airport. Sometimes they come and they send them back because why? The same thing they were saying. They don't have money to sustain themselves. The Haitian, okay, I don't say that you don't help people, but at the end of the day, look at Grenada's situation. The people in Grenada need help for them. Where you gonna put them?
I understand, but you are Grenadian and you're talking from foreign.
Professional, right?
And I understand.
You said they could be professional. You don't know you was only assuming they could be professional.
Julia, I understand what
you don't know that.
I understand what she's saying, but thank God she's talking from foreign soil, not in Grenada. So somebody helped you
Yes,
along.
Grenada,
Somebody helped you along the way, and we should. Somebody helped you along the way. Somebody helped you.
Hold on.
Somebody helped you along the way. Somebody helped me along the way. Somebody helped Junior along the way. And there's nothing wrong in lending a hand to someone else who is in need. That's all I'm saying. 14 Grenadians would not have turned Grenada upside down. Okay? We have these Chinese destroying. We have the Chinese destroying Rivera right now. This is more what we should be more upset of. 14 Haitians coming in.
Then you have to. That's what you should have tell the NNP leader, because it's the NNP leader what do what happening with the Chinese. That is question. You should go to the NNP leader, right? But
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. What
Everything don't have to be politics. Everything don't have to be politics. Everything have to be
Let me ask you a question.
No, look, it's not about politics, Junior. It's about he's saying that the Chinese is destroying Rivera. How come the Chinese is destroying Rivera? Why the reason? Who caused the Chinese to be destroying Rivera? Who gave them the right to destroy Grenada? It's somebody.
Yeah.
And it happened when it was in the NS time. It's not about politics. It's the
No,
truth.
what I want to ask you, tell me, ma'am,
You can tell people, Junior, I listen to your show every single time.
Right.
And a couple months ago, I heard you was asking for help for people to get placed for people, right?
I still need help for them.
Call you and say, oh, yeah. And I never hear he call you and say, oh, I have this. No, he didn't.
No,
Now
but in Denison defense, he is very active in assisting Grenadians, right? I know that personally because he, in fact, made moves on a number of stories that he see right here and right along, and some in his own initiatives as well. So I don't want to condemn Denison to hell when I know he does good work. He does good work, and he probably ain't go toot his own horn, but he helps a lot of people out of his own pocket. So he's a good judge.
I just wanted to ask.
Who need help?
Yes.
Dying in poverty.
Yes.
Julia, I just wanted to ask my sister to tell me what wrong 14 Haitians would have done to Grenada. Tell me what terrible.
No, you have no idea. You don't know. Don't assume. You don't know.
Okay.
Right.
Let's leave this like I open something. You don't know what they could have come to Grenada and do. You don't even know what they run away from Haiti to come to and do. You understand me?
True.
I don't say no. If you leave and you go to any country and they ask you how much money you have and you don't have money and you don't have a place to stay, they will turn you back. And you know that for yourself.
Yeah.
You leave and you go to America, yes. When you go there, you had family to take you in. They could have sustained you for a time until you get a work. But if you go on the airport and say you don't have money and you don't have a place to stay, you'd have been going right back to Grenada. Yeah. And you know that.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true.
It's a fact.
You can't deny that. And while we're on this, I want to say this.
What they should have do, Junior, what they should have do, they could have come and they could have seek asylum or something. If they come and they seek asylum, then I could have been angry with the Prime Minister. He turned them down.
Well, Carla, let me ask you a question. You don't even know how to seek asylum. You don't know.
Nobody knows what they
haven't verified. Junior?
Yeah.
If they come to Grenada and they seek like tourists, they have to have money.
Julia,
okay.
Yeah, up to now, no one has clarified what happened at that airport. No one.
I think.
And then you were saying about language.
People are saying. People are saying.
Google
yes,
Transit is there, man.
They should seek asylum, but there is no clear-cut way. Not even myself. I don't have the full. I can't tell you the process of seeking asylum. I know. I don't think that someone from Haiti who's running from, possibly, I'm not saying that is the case, but if in fact they were running from whatever political instability or whatever it is, because it's not going on good down there, they probably don't have the documentation of how to seek asylum. I firmly believe, some part of me believe, that it's a case of human trafficking. And that have to be investigated from Grenada end. Who in Grenada actually was the pull to get them there? Who in Grenada actually got them through these borders from Suriname to Trinidad to Grenada? I still think that need to be investigated. And I think that if that's investigated very clearly, I believe that we could get some clarification on that. We got a next caller. The caller live. Hello.
Hello, good night, Junior. I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. Go right ahead.
Yes. What I have to say with this matter, you know, in every country, you have your laws. Every country deport people back to where they come from according to, you know, you come to Grenada with 80 US. 80 US is like nothing in Grenada. No, you don't have no relatives in Grenada. You don't have no place to stay in Grenada. What is your mission? What is your purpose coming into the country? As the lady said, the last caller, if they had applied for, like, you know, asylum,
Right.
it was a different story.
Yeah,
If you
but
are
two
applying
things,
for
caller.
asylum,
It's not a clear-cut situation, and also Grenada is not a signatory to what is it? What's the law?
1951 UN refugee.
Right. So Grenada doesn't have is not a signee to
they
that.
doesn't have the right to take.
Yeah, but even if Grenada is not a signee under norms and customs and CARICOM and other international norms, Grenada has a duty to offer them some kind of safety.
Let me tell you something. Everybody have the opinion of what should do. Even your guest there, your guest have his opinion what should be done and what not should be done. I've already made a statement saying his brother need workers would have taken them on the farm. But let me tell you something. If that was the agenda, if that's what you have in mind, no disrespect, let your brother somehow, some way, do whatever you have to do. Get them back into Grenada, give them place to stay, and put them on to work. But if you come into the country, the immigration, the prime minister, whoever, they has a right to send you back, to keep you, or to do whatever they want. That is their in authority, and they can do that. And no matter we talk, and no matter we vex, and no matter what we say, this is only our opinion. It doesn't make any compassion. I am Caraquinian living in America, and I had to come to America through the right channel and everything. And I just couldn't come on the airport and say, well, I'm going on a thing, tourist. I have nobody. I know nobody. I just show up on the airport.
You're going to be rejected. They go send you back.
Exactly.
You see, Junior,
I remember when I used to come to America. When I used to come to America on a visa, right? Just ordinary. I mean, you get here for 10 years and you come to America. But you even though you come in, when you get that visa, you have to come. When you come in, they ask you certain question, and you have to be upright. And if you don't, I remember I went to England one time, and on the same flight I went to England, they put a few women, a few Jamaican women, a few whatever people, whoever, and they send them back on the other flight. You see, in every country, immigration send back people. So I don't know what is this big. And because look at in Haiti, Haiti is in turmoil.
Yeah.
I work with Asian, and even the Asian tell you how bad the country is.
Well,
you
ma'am,
people in. You don't know people. Haiti have gangs. They killing their own president. Who is you?
No, but I'm just saying you just answer your own question with the last thing you said. When you went over there, you left Grenada, a stable country, and you went abroad. Haiti is in turmoil.
Yes.
That's why we have to, when they show up at our doorstep, we have to treat them different.
I don't say
people from
treat is different, but you have to know the background of these people.
I agree.
You just bring these people into your country and you let them go in your country.
I agree with you 100%.
You cannot do that. You have to be more. Your opinions, as I say again, opinions, but immigration, the prime minister, who in authority know what they were doing, and we upset. We feel they should help us, help them in some way or the other. Because that is the right thing to do. Show humanitarian, show love, show compassion. But those things don't work like that. I'm sorry to say that, but it don't work like that. Anyway, you all have a blessed night.
Thank you.
And I am listening to you all.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you so much. Big up. Yeah.
Okay, bye.
We're gonna take two more callers. We'll take two more callers. But Denison, I'm able to see this from both sides, right? I'm able to see it from both sides. I have the faith in the immigration officers in Grenada because before this, I never heard any big news publication denouncing action by the Grenadian Immigration Authority. It is not like it's a systemic problem that Grenada have. It's not something that we could have said, okay, I don't trust how they handle people in the past. That has never raised its head before. So I believe that decision they took over and over in many instances prior to this one. And the fact that this is becoming such a hot topic, I firmly believe that because of the political climate that we're in.
Don't forget, Junior.
Nasty political climate.
Don't forget, no one knew of this until the Prime Minister spoke about it.
But he was asked.
Right, but few people, and if he didn't elaborate on that, then maybe it would have not been the kind of big story that it is today. Okay. And a lot of people brought up the speech at the UN and contrasted with what happened at the airport. And that's what caused the dilemma that we're currently in. I am not saying every country have its laws. Grenada have its laws, and every country's laws must be obeyed by its citizens and people who are coming in. I am debating this on a humanitarian point of view.
Right.
That sometimes, regardless of laws, we have to be compassionate to our people who are in a less unfortunate situation. I lived in Haiti for a short period of time years ago, and it's a terrible place. But Haiti has a long history of suffering, and it's no fault of their own.
Yeah.
If you know Haiti's history, you know what they're paying for. They are still paying for what they did to Napoleon. So what I'm saying is that, yes, Grenada have its laws and we should obey, people should obey the laws of Grenada. But I'm just saying, I think it would have been a plus and a win-win if we had taken them in and move forward.
Let's take this call. We got another call on the line. Call your live, where you calling us from?
Grenada again.
Hey, Grenada again. How you doing? Go ahead.
I'm good. Junior, I want to ask Denison from it, please. Why is it that he's against the Prime Minister and not the immigration? Because he's against the Prime Minister and not the immigration officers. The immigration officers did their job. And I don't know if it's something personal between he and the Prime Minister, but deal with the immigration officers which are doing their job.
I have nothing against. I have nothing against the Prime Minister and Junior. I could tell you, I worked very, 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 very hard to get that government elected. Junior could testify to that, and you could, a lot of people knows that. I've worked very, very hard because I thought Grenada needed a change, and I thought we needed a change with a government of humility, and I was disappointed when that happened. It had nothing to do. And yes, let me tell you something. I know what we go through, even as Grenadian citizens, when we land at that airport, at that airport there at Maurice Bishop International Airport. So I'm just could imagine what these people went through who maybe speak no English. I am just arguing this on a humanitarian perspective. And I'm saying we as Grenadians, when we travel abroad, and I could tell you, I'm in New York, and we have tons of Grenadians coming here for medical treatment every year. There are the different hospitals. And I'm saying sometimes we have to be a little compassionate. Not everything is based on laws, and everything is based on what's on paper. You have to, somewhere in your psyche, you have to think these people traveled far. They maybe saved up years to make that journey to Grenada. Let us give them a chance and hear what they have to say. That's all I'm saying. And then we determine whether they stay or they go. That's all I'm saying.
Again, guys, 718-701-5720. I want to reiterate that point I made earlier. Well, let's take this call and then I'll reiterate that point.
You have a caller. To accept the call.
Caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
Hi, Junior. How you doing? New Jersey.
New Jersey. Go right ahead.
Junior, I have sympathy and I have empathy for the Haitian people. But listen, Junior, there are a lot of Grenadians who are living in deplorable conditions. I didn't see them coming out and fighting for their same brothers and sisters.
I just saw a woman on MTV Junior begging for housing. Why don't her brothers and sisters, the same one that's complaining, why don't they help them?
Yes.
We can't help the Haitians, no, because our brothers and sisters need help. There are kids not going to school because they have no food, they have no light, they have no water to bathe. I mean, come on, Grenadians need help. So if this Mr. saying there are people that want to house the Haitians, why not contact them and let them help their own brothers and sisters first? Then we could help others.
Right.
Well, my sister, let me say that I have a track record of putting my money where my mouth is when it comes to helping Grenada.
Okay, so help your brothers and help them. A lot of people want to Western them.
And providing housing for Grenadians. I don't depend on when I get called sometimes to help provide a shelter for a family in Grenada. I don't go to the government. I send my own money, and
that's fine.
So I'm just saying,
that's nice.
Right. But here, I mean, I could attest to the fact that Denison help out. He does a lot of humanitarian work. But here's a problem that I'm having. I'm seeing people sort of parachute, if to use that term, is that a correct term to use? Parachuting into the conversation, saying that, okay, I would have taken on this opportunity to house this Haitian. And Denison, I cannot tell you how much time I sat in this very same chair here. And I beg.
I see you do it all the time.
I beg to get help for a family that have five kids. This one who have that kid. And you know what? I get sometimes Denison, 0.
Well, listen.
And the people are out there saying, I will take them in. But listen, even before the Haitian conversation came out, we were asking for help for local Grenadian. Help them.
Your own brothers and sisters. Thank you. Look at the guy that had wanted to commit suicide that had amputee junior.
Yeah.
He was begging for someone to just sit and have a conversation with him in Grenada. Come on.
People like a story. Let me tell you. People like a hot story, Denison. And just like how 2 days ago there was a hot story, and today nobody was talking about it. Everybody look for the next story and the next hottest story. That's how it is. This conversation is gonna die down. Nobody's gonna remember anything about helping anybody. Move on to the next thing. But now it's a hot topic. Everybody want to punks around it and parachute into the conversation as if they would have actually helped. And the truth and the fact about it, probably they would have, but I doubt. Because if they wanted to show humanity, they would help their brothers and sisters in St. David, in other places right now who needs the assistance.
I agree with you, but you know what happened? The next time this happens, I'm sure the government is going to handle it differently.
Possibly. We've got a caller from London. London, go right ahead.
Yes, brother. I find it very disappointing that our Caribbean people sound so apathetic. Seems like they don't have no empathy at all towards the Haitian people. And the last sister that called, who said, we need to help our brothers. Sound like you're talking about in Grenada. Are the Haitians not our brothers and sisters too?
Yes.
I think all this kind of negative talk coming from ignorance, as in like not knowing our history as a people. Because if they know the history, right, they should love the Haitians. Because Haiti is the first black nation in the Western Hemisphere here to free themselves, right?
Right.
And I would like to let them know that when the Haitians free themselves, and that's the reason why they're suffering today. Because all the backlash they face is like they get discipline from these so-called first world Western countries. How dare these black people free themselves, right? And I wonder if they know that when Haiti free themselves from the colonizers, the French, any black person who escaped from any island, once they make it to Haiti, they give you safe haven. So we should love the Haitians. We should always remember that.
Yeah.
You understand? I find it really disappointing how people behaving, man. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Not only that, Junior, a lot of Grenadians do not know that one of the founding fathers of Haiti was a proud Grenadian, Henry Christophe.
Yes.
And he was their first king. And that is taught in every school in Haiti, the history of Grenada, because he was the first king of Haiti, Henry Christophe. And it's a proud history. But I'm just saying is that, listen, I understand where a lot of the frustration is coming from. We hear the same argument in America. You have homeless people in America. Why should America take its money and help foreign countries when you have homeless people here? So we hear the same arguments. Yeah. True. But I'm just saying, as a humanitarian perspective, we have to do a little better. And that's all I'm saying. All right, Junior, good night.
Point taken. Thank you, Denison George. We appreciate you my friend, we'll keep in touch.
All right, one love. Yeah.
Guys, we got a quick commercial break telling you about the National Lotteries Authority. The jackpot is what? $320,000.
Need a home, car, education, dream vacation? The National Lotteries Authority's Lotto jackpot is $320,000. Play today for chances at a more satisfying life. Lotto. Play and win a lot of money.
Told you, $320,000. Play within your limits, guys, when you play the games from the National Lotteries Authority, supporting sports culture and nation building. Guys, great conversation today. You know, I like when we could engage each other and talk about nation building and things that is really supporting the Caribbean region, right? Because oftentimes, every time we conversate, it's like one side having one conversation, another side having another conversation. When would we ever come back to one and have one single conversation, and not an opportunistic conversation, you know? Not because it might be politically, you know, advantageous to you that you take on a fight or take on some kind of argument, a position. Nah, you have to take on that position from a moral perspective, right? So it's good when we could all come together as a people and have one conversation. I do believe that everybody has passion for what they believe. They want to see the country going forward. Nobody wants to see the country digress. Nobody wants to see the country go back further than where it is. People might have their different perspective of how we get there. Like I could go to Grenville, I could pass over the hills, and I could go down St. David. But everybody ain't going to think about passing over the hills. Some people don't like the hills, but some people like St. David. I mean, in a nutshell, everybody have their own way of getting to the place. But that doesn't mean one is right and one is wrong. It gets you to the same place. So when we could start having this conversation, right, then we could see true nation building. Because firmly, I believe that, and that's towards the Haitian migrants now. I believe that the government, I don't believe it's a knee-jerk reaction, but I think that the government could have a strong position, knowing that it was right before Bahamas. They could have, you know, a good position to stand on to say, look what happened just the other day, right? In the face of Canada and all these other countries. 15 Haitians came in, and this is what we did. We don't have the funds to sustain them, so we need additional assistance. It would be a good position for the government to stand on. But at the same time, I'm saying all of this to say, at the same time, I still have faith and trust in the immigration officers back in Grenada. I believe that they do a good job in filtering out situations that they might determine might be a burden on the person. And that is not a bad thing. Because every immigration officer in every territory, their job is to be that bottleneck, that bridge between filtering I don't want to say unwanted, because that's a bad word. I don't want to say unwanted, because there are people that might be coming in to cause crime. I'm not saying that is the situation here, but the immigration officer is there to ask questions, to filter. And every single country do that. America does it, England does it, France, and everybody does it. That's what they do. I have a family member that got sent back because they came to America and they was asking them a certain question and they found certain item on the person, and they was not supposed to have a certain item on the person. Not anything illegal though, but for a small thing as an ID card, they was sent back immediately. And we're talking about America, right? So say all of that to say, guys, at the same time, we still have to be compassionate. I might sound like I'm talking about it from all different perspectives because I see it from all different perspectives. Last thing I'm going to say on this topic. Guys. If you are sick, if you are a sick person and you are attempting to get a visa to come to the United States to do a routine operation, it is 10 times more difficult to get a visa. I'm talking about you are sick. You need an operation that would save your life. If you don't get an operation, you might die. It is 10 times harder to get a visa than if you are well. The first thing that you have to prove is, one, that you have sufficient cash to do the surgery. Well, the second thing you have to prove is that you have sufficient cash. The first thing you have to prove is that there is a hospital who is willing to accept you, simply because the hospital or the state do not want you to become a burden on them. So they're not going to issue you a visa to come, because no country want anybody to become a burden on the purse. You see? So it's not only Grenada that does it, but it's still important, guys, to be compassionate, as some people might say, be humanitarian in these efforts. We got one last call, guys. Caller, you live. Where you calling us from? You are a final caller.
Hi, good night. I'm calling from New York.
Yes, go right ahead, New York. You are a final caller.
And, thank you. So my stance on this whole Haitian debacle is, we know, I feel for the Haitian people, but we know that Grenada is not a party to the 1951 Refugee Convention.
Right.
Grenada is not in a situation to be taking in mass migration of people, because we are privy to climate change, natural disasters. So what happens in the event of that? Who is going to take care of these people? Now, places like Canada that's offering millions of dollars, they're in a better position to take these people in and give them the assistance that they need in Canada.
Yes. Yes.
I think it would serve them better, because they're French speaking. Where is France in all of this?
True. Well, you know,
Grenada is so far away from Haiti. I mean, it's like, come on. It's crazy. You have, as Mr. CLOUDEN said, when the floodgate opens, what happens? Who are we going to be pointing the finger at?
True. True. And caller, I mean, I have no way to confirm this next thing that I'm going to tell you, but I am going to be doing my own personal investigation to find out if this is not a case of human trafficking from the pool coming from Grenada. Like, who is that person in Grenada that invited or was trying to get these individuals through Grenada? Who sponsored them?
And you made a very good point, because I'm sure these people came from wherever. They probably were trying to get over the border to come to America, and it seems as though they had a U-turn, made their way to Trinidad and on to Grenada. Now, if you're trying to go to a country, my thing is that you would do your homework, and I'm sure if you ask them anything about Grenada, 9 out of 10 wouldn't be able to tell you anything. I work with Haitian people all the time. I said to somebody the other day, oh, you know, Grenada and Haiti are really closely related. And I tell them about Henry Christophe. This girl grew up in Haiti. She knows nothing about her history.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there as a Grenadian. I have conversations with her every day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there are so many unanswered questions.
I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
And you're right. That's something to investigate.
No, absolutely. We are looking into it, and we're gonna be more focused into it to find out that question as well. Why did they pass through Trinidad, left Trinidad? I mean, past Suriname, left Suriname, went to Trinidad, left Trinidad, and come to Grenada. What was that? And then also, I hope that we could get a hold of the immigration officer to really find out, because a lot of things that we even said here today, we are speculating. We don't know for a fact what was the conversation between the immigration officer and that individual. We don't know that determination, that final determination. Right. So
and everyone is saying what they want to say.
Yeah. It's important that we have a full, from the horse's mouth conversation.
Did they ask for asylum? Did they? All of these questions, all of those are unanswered questions, instead of us running and throwing accusations here and there.
Right.
Because Grenada is not the only country that people have been, they're not deported, that they have been denied entry.
Yeah.
They were denied entry.
So that is messaging. And again, we have to blame how information circulates out, the PR from this, because no matter we could sing this, we could put this into a soca tune, a reggae tune, a groovy song. The message that's out there already is that they were deported, And it's hard to take that back.
Yeah.
But proper PR was supposed to be done to get that information out properly, and that was not done. And that is doing bad for the administration, not being able to put out proper PR on this. That's stuck. That's stuck out there already. No matter how much time we see the difference.
Yeah, and then what is happening is a lot of emotion. We're not looking at it from the angle it should be looked at.
Yeah.
People are getting emotional.
Yeah, it is, and it's a political. It's a high political climate, and everybody trying to score political points on both sides. You know, who defending, and who is for, and it's a mess. But hopefully, good sense will prevail, and we'll get to the bottom of this. But thank you, caller. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Thanks again.
And thank you.
Bye. All right, guys. A little sorry for me. Look at the time. Look at the time. Way over time. Way over time. I'm still here. But I love being with you guys. It's Monday. It's Carnival Monday in Carriacou and in Aruba and in Dominica and in Trinidad. I want you guys to be safe, right? If you have family members there, give them a call. Just tell them be safe. There are a lot of craziness happening all over the place, guys. We heard about incident that happened in Saigon, in the Ghanaian area today, that this one individual over the weekend was shot 12 times. 12 times. Where are these guns and them coming from? What the hell is happening? This individual was shot 12 times. And he didn't die. And I don't understand. He was shot 12 times. You know, I was speaking to a family member earlier today. You know, one of the shot went close to his torso area, and the others was all in his foot. Like, I mean, thank God he got shot in his foot all these times. But where are these guns coming from? You know, so people, you know, in celebrating and having fun, just be aware, just be conscious. And please, I beg in. All you leave the guns home now, man. Why? Why if you're going out on your party and you're gonna jam and wine and find some new chick and you want to, you know, bust a wine and what are you going with guns for? You know, why is that necessary? Why you have to go with big knife and thing for? Yeah? You go and have fun. Go and jam, go and wine, wave your flag, wave your rag. Why you have to go with guns, cutlass, knives, screwdrivers, all kind of, you know, scissors and all kind of thing, all you go in and party with. Like, leave it at home. Not necessary. And listen, if you know somebody, they packing to go on in Carnival, jump up right now, and you see they pull a knife and they put it in their waist. Leave that. What is that about? What that for? Why you have to do that for? Why you have to bring it there for? You don't necessary. Leave it home. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Just tell them leave it. Please, I beg of all you. And this is what I'm going to do, guys. This is unofficial, but it's something that I'm working on. To eradicate all these guns that are all over the place, I am willing to work with police guys to raise about $50,000, right? And cash for guns. Yeah, let's do a cash for guns program where every gun we get off the street, we give the recipient $1,000. Yeah, we give you $1,000. You could go buy food with it. And hopefully the police will ask no question or interrogate where the gun. Just take the gun, give them the $1,000. I don't even mind helping to raise the money to get guns off the street. Because listen, when guns start to fly and when guns start to shoot and bullets start to fly all over the place, you don't know if it's your sister, your cousin, the same person who input the guns down there. You don't know if you could be standing next to a shootout. You yourself get shot. Your mother gets shot. Your sister gets shot. You know what I mean? We need to get these guns off the street, and I don't mind. And I'm putting this out there, guys. I want to start a national campaign to raise about $50,000, $60,000 and do a cash for guns. Every gun we get off the street, guys, we give $1,000. Take $1,000, go and buy some food. Go and buy some food, get something to eat, pay a bill. You know, electricity bill high. You know, get a cell phone. Change the whole narrative. Take the guns off the street, give them $1,000. I don't mind being a part of this. If you guys are interested in something like that, let's talk. Let's talk. Seriously, guys, we need to do something to get these guns off the street. Anyway, my name is Junior George. I say thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program today on behalf of all of our production team here. Don't forget, guys, we are going to where? Dubai. We are going to Dubai in October, but we're giving you guys an opportunity to head down to Dubai with us. This is the QR code. Click that link right now. It's riderstravel.com. Let me put it there, riderstravel.com. You could click that link right now and start the booking process. $250 early deposit. You have about 6 months to pay that off. Do it right now if you want to enjoy a great experience with us right along to Dubai. It's amazing. All right. Night, guys. Thank you guys so much. Remember, leave the guns, leave the knives and all this stupidness and them. Leave it at home. Not necessary. It is not necessary. Okay? Thank you. Good night.
On Saturday, March 18th, it's time to report for duty as New Face Promotion presents Revo Dance 19.
Do you know what it means to have a revolution?
Revo Dance 19.
Here I come with love and not hatred.
All taking place at 178 Newport Street, Brooklyn, New York. Get your $40 tickets now. More at the door. For ticket info, contact 347-304-5453. And you must be 21 and over. Music by Exterminator Sound. Live from Canada. From New York, Joe Bailey. Silence, No Apology, DJ Synergy, and DJ Hot Stepper. Table and bottle package is available. Dress code Army Green or camouflage. A special prize for the best dress, male or female. And listen, when you buy your ticket early, you can win a return ticket with JetBlue to Grenada in the month of May and June 2023. It's Revo Dance 19, Saturday, March 18, 178 Newport Street.
Carpentry and Cleaning Service Inc., providing exceptional carpet and cleaning, floor installation, refinishing, home renovations, drywall, painting, plastering, doors and moldings, electrical and plumbing, and much more. We are a one-stop shop for all your professional needs. Give us a call today on 718-221-5572. That is 718-221-5572. Or you can call our cell on 917-939-3192. Check out our sales on all services. We're located at 218 Schenectady Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Phillips Carpentry and Cleaning Service Inc.
Established in 1998, Ross Road Funeral Services continues to assist you plan the ideal funeral or memorial service locally or internationally. Our reputation is built on providing personalized funeral services based on love and compassion. Call Ross Road Funeral Services at 718-547-0640.
Ross Road Funeral Services, where your loved one is our loved one.
I want you folks to play these 3 games from the NLA. Daily pick 3 cash flow and play with. You will be supporting sports and culture, nation building and our future. So go out and play, folks, make it a must. You will see what the National Lottery is doing for us. When you play pick 3 cash flow and play with, the NLA will support you all the way.
Starting September 30th, Monday to Friday, these 3 games will be drawn mid-morning, 9:45 a.m., midday, 12:45 p.m., and evenings, 7:45 p.m. The National Lotteries, supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Sunday money day.
Grenadian products are now only a mouse click away at GrenadaMarket.com. Nutmeg and guava jams, jellies and syrups, world famous nutmeg pain relief spray, black sage, soursop, lemongrass, and bois bande bar. Ordering is simple and friendly. All major credit cards accepted. Safe, secure shopping guaranteed. GrenadaMarket.com ships your product anywhere in the world. So when you can't go to the island, the products off the island can be sent to you. Just log on to www.grenadamarket.com and experience our quick delivery and homely service.